So, the only last good news we've heard of like Scream 7 is that, Nev Campbell was paid her money and she's coming back, and some people got mad, some people were happy about it. I'm in the middle of that. I'm not choosing one complete side, but at least we know as for certain that, Sydney is back, but the core four is not okay, and that's just something we're gonna have to deal with, unfortunately. Now, I want to ask you guys, how should this Ghostface be for a seventh film? Now, I will say this, try to refrain from, the Stu theories. I don't think Stu is coming back. I don't want Stu coming back, because I feel like Stu is good for a two-part movie, so have his reveal be in Scream 7, and then have his finale with Sydney be in Scream 8. I don't think it's safe to bring Matthew Lillard back for just like 5 minutes of screen time at the end of like Scream 7. I just don't think that. And I mentioned in my past videos, I briefly mentioned that this Ghostface, it's crazy how I kind of like predicted this, if I end up being right, was that this Ghostface feels like, if they want to stop the killings, right? If they want to stop people from being chased by Ghostface, stop the murders, stop all the fear, they feel like that if they end up killing Sydney, everything will go back to normal. Right? So, Sydney moves into a new town, and from what people have said on Instagram, it seems like that's where it's going, right? Moving into this new place. Sydney's just trying to start a new life with her kids and all that. And some people are like, okay, I do not want to be around this lady, which makes perfect sense. I totally understand. If Sydney Prescott was real, people would probably think she's Ghostface. People would be like, oh, there's no way this lady survived that many attacks for the past 20 plus years, and even herself hasn't gone crazy yet. It's almost amazing in a way. Think of all the close people she trusted that turned on her, and the other side that trusted her ended up getting killed, right? So someone, they are so afraid of Ghostface coming around them that they become Ghostface themselves to try and stop Sydney. Now, here's the problem with that. That means they would only attack Sydney. It wouldn't make sense to just attack other people around her. But I can see this new Ghostface doing that to put the blame on Sydney, right? And now Sydney has to play dirty, go even lower to find out who this new Ghostface is, right? And I will say this, I don't think we need this Ghostface to like try to relate themselves, compare themselves to like one of the stab movies and all that. Doesn't have to be that, but that's the only way I can see this Ghostface, this motive work in a way. Because why would you, and I know she wasn't paid in Scream 6 and that's why she dropped out, but they have to play for like story-wise, they gotta explain why they skipped Sydney out on the events that happened in Scream 6. But now you want to come after her, some years later, if that's where they're going with the timeline, right? So I want to ask you guys, give me your ideas. How would you make this new Ghostface good for Scream 7? What would be the motive of it, right? And this Ghostface, I want this Ghostface to have the really like the smart side, like the smartness of Roman from Scream 3, but then have like that brutal side from Scream 6, right? Because you gotta think about it. This Ghostface knows that anyone who has put on the mask has died brutally trying to get to Sydney or other people, around her. So what could they do differently? I don't want a Ghostface running around stabbing at people. Sydney kills him at the end. Because we're going into this movie, we know Sydney's not going to die. Now, Gail, that's iffy, maybe. Uh, Patrick Dempsey's character, maybe he could also get it, or it could be. I don't know if Kirby's gonna come back. I hope so, but it doesn't. It doesn't seem like Kirby's coming back. But those two are the only ones I can see that we have to potentially worry about. We know Sydney's not going to die, right? And I think it's fair to say that her kids aren't going to die since her kids are like, I think barely even 5 timeline wise, so it wouldn't make sense. And plus that would just kind of like put like a really bad stain on the movie, right? There's already bad stains on this movie and hasn't even started filming it. So I want to ask you guys, how do we make this new Ghostface? In my opinion, they're so afraid of Sydney being around them that they try to kill her themselves, right? And another thing I want to say, now honestly, I'm always a fan of like the two killers, and that's about it, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as I love Roman, I'm not really a fan of like just the one killer thing. I think having multiple killers is kind of what like made Scream unique, a very unique slasher, you know? So you guys think it should be one killer, two killers, or three if you want to go down that route again? I don't think they'll go down that route. I think they'll just probably go back to two. Even though this motive that I'm making in my head seems like it would only be one killer, right? Now, as far as like a Ghostface cult, I don't think so. I don't. It's like I want it to happen, but it's like if there's a Ghostface cult chasing this one person, they gotta kill Sydney, and we know that's not gonna happen. So I'm like, I know she has survived a lot, but it's like, imagine Sydney having to go up against like 5 ghost faces, because that's kind of what I picture when talking about a ghost face cult, and I just don't think she would be able to survive that. She really shouldn't have survived this many stab wounds, but I mean, hey, look where we're at. So, you guys comment down. What do you think they should do? Comment down what you guys think.